Hello, I'm Wamala and you're watching DI. First news in headlines. The second vaccination drive for the business community is supposed to be conducted on Wednesday at the office of the Kohima Chamber of Commerce and Industry was postponed to Thursday by the district administration. Arunachal Pradesh is also celebrating the 73rd International Olympic Day. While presenting the opening remarks for the occasion, the president of the Arunachal Olympic Association, Tabatidir, stated that International Olympic Day is celebrated to commemorate the day when the International Olympic Committee was founded in 1884, aiming to promote participation in sport across the globe, regardless of age, gender, or athletic ability. The Committee to Protect Journalists has said it will honor Jimmy Lai, the imprisoned founder of Hong Kong's Next Digital Media Company and Apple Daily newspaper, with the 2020 Grenfell Press Freedom Award. Now news in details. The second vaccination drive for the business community is supposed to be conducted on Wednesday at the office of the Kohima Chamber of Commerce and Industry was postponed to Thursday by the district administration. K. Henry Chisate, Information and Public Secretary of the KCCI, informed Hornbilltv that owing to restrictions, the authority had deferred the session to be conducted at Seizure local ground on Thursday. He stated they were expecting traders and shopkeepers numbering to at least about 200 to be turning up, but they had to send back home those who have turned up at KCCI office to receive the jabs on June 23 in the morning. So far, 145 persons from the business community in Kohima have been vaccinated during a vaccination camp that was organized by the KCCI in collaboration with the District Task Force and Chief Medical Officer at the KCCI's office on Monday in Kohima. Chisate, Information and Public Secretary of KCCI, informed Hornbilltv that the administration has asked them to continue with the registration so that those who missed taking the vaccines may receive it as and when vaccines are made available again. Ever since the announcement of the statewide lockdown, business establishments have shut down and traders and citizens are at home, following a surge in COVID-19 positive cases. Many traders were detected with COVID-19 earlier by the medical personnel when random tests were conducted in different locations in and around Kohima. The Kohima District Administration had recently announced certain relaxations, permitting shops and stores to do business. Pursuant to the directives of the Ministry of Education, the Department of School Education and Literacy, Government of India, all the states are required to implement the Online Unified District Information System for Education Plus, or UDC. Plus, the Nagaland Department of School Education issued a notification stating the requirements from schools to comply with collecting data and uploading them in the stipulated format. Data information on schools, which includes all private schools, Jawahar, Navodaya, Vidyalaya, Kendriya Vidyalaya, and schools under the CBSE, ICSE, and all schools under the central and state government, are required to be collected and furnished in the prescribed format developed by the Ministry of Education. Under the current UDC Plus, that information of schools will be collected for the year 2020, and the exercise is scheduled to be completed by end of June 2021. The notification stated, the duly filled-in documents will be uploaded online at the district or block level, it stated. The end result of the data collation will reflect the status of education in the state and will enable deriving of gross enrollment ratio, net enrollment ratio, dropout rates, transition rates, others, the update stated. In view of the Right to Education Act, accountability has been set up by Ministry of Education at all levels of data collection to check data consistency and timely submission, the update stated. All the school authorities are therefore cautioned against submission of inauthentic and inaccurate information pertaining to their respective schools, the notification stated. The print soft copy of the UDC Plus formats have been dispatched to all district education officers, and 70% of the schools have submitted the filled-up data capture format already uploaded on the Ministry of Education website, the notification stated. The school department will be constrained to invoke the non-cooperation clause or derecognize or presume non-existence of the school in the state for all those schools, including schools under the central and state government, that are yet to submit the duly filled informats to the respective EBRC or District Education Officer letters by June 26, the update stated. Nagaland Chief Minister Nefirio today inaugurated on June 23, Wednesday, a 150 LPM UNDP-supported oxygen generation plant at the District Hospital of Phek. During the event, Rio expressed gratitude on behalf of the people of Nagaland for the humanitarian assistance, which will save many lives and tackle the health crisis. Ministers and legislators beside administrative and health officials were present right after the inauguration of the oxygen plant. The Chief Minister held a meeting with the district's COVID task force and civil society organizations to take stock of the COVID situation and also to take a report on how the district is working to fight the pandemic. The Chief Minister lauded the frontline workers and the people of the district for giving their best in fighting the pandemic and hoped that they will continue to do so for the further betterment of the people. The Chumbikitima Town Council has issued a notice declaring the entire stretch of National Highway 29 in the Chumbikitima area and no litter zone. The council issued a copy of the notice on June 23, stating that improperly discarded waste can spread viruses, parasites, and other pathogens through either direct or indirect contact. The council stated that anyone found littering or disposing waste in an improper fashion will be penalized with ₹1,000 or calls for mandatory community service in lieu of the penalty. Implementation of the order will be through constant monitoring or checking by anti-litter squads, led by the CTC's inspectors in this regard, the notice stated. The Speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, Sharingan Lungkumar, and the All Sumi Students Union (SKK) have expressed grief and condolences at the demise of former Nagaland Minister Yeshito Chishi. The two issued separate condolences message on June 23, Wednesday. Chishi was a member of the 3rd Nagaland Legislative Assembly, during which he also served as a Minister of State, Longkorma said. In his demise, the state and the people of Atoizu have lost a committed leader who always worked for the betterment of the poor and the downtrodden sections of the society, the Speaker stated. His contribution shall always be recognized and remembered, the message read. Longkorma, also on behalf of the 13th Nagaland Legislative Assembly, expressed condolences to the family of late Chishi and prayed that God will give them strength to bear the loss. Likewise, the SKK expressed pain at the demise of Chishi. He played a key role in framing and structuring the growth of the SKK into a substantial frontal organization. The SKK stated in its condolence message. It added that the tremendous service he rendered to the union shall be honored throughout generations. The union prayed for peace for the departed. The Committee to Protect Journalists has said it will honor Jimmy Lai, the imprisoned founder of Hong Kong's next digital media company and Apple Daily newspaper, with the 2020 Gwen Phil Press Freedom Award. Presented annually by CPJ's Board of Directors to recognize extraordinary and sustained commitment to press freedom. Jimmy Lai is not just a champion of a free press, he is a press freedom warrior, said Kathleen Carroll, chair of CPJ's board. He fights for the right of his Apple News organization to publish freely, even as China and its backers in Hong Kong use every tool to quash them, said Carroll. This comes as Hong Kong's pro-democracy newspaper Apple Daily could stop publishing on Saturday if the city authorities continue to keep its assets frozen after arresting 5 executives under the draconian national security law. The Hong Kong Free Press reported that the management of the newspaper's parent company will decide on Friday whether to continue publishing the tabloid or not. A CJP release said that Lai has become a powerful symbol of the struggle to maintain press freedom in Hong Kong as China's Communist Party exerts every greater control over the territory. In prison, denied bail, the outspoken critic of the Chinese government and advocate for democracy faces charges that could keep him in jail for the rest of his life. Lai will be honored at CPJ's 2021 International Press Freedom Awards on November 18, 2021. Inauguration cum dedication of an oxygen generation plant at the Tomo Riba Institute of Health and Medical Sciences at Naharlagun in Arunachal Pradesh was inaugurated on June 23 by Pema Khandu, Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh. The oxygen generation plant has been installed in a collaborative effort by the United Nations Development Programme for the state government of Arunachal Pradesh in May 2021. Updates informed. The inauguration was conducted in the presence of Deputy Chief Minister Chawna Main, Health Minister Alo Libang, Advisor to Health Minister Goruk Pordung, 13th Itanagar Assembly Constituency MLA Techi Kaso, Mayor Tame Fasang and Chief Secretary Naresh Kumar, among others. Arunachal Pradesh is also celebrating the 73rd International Olympic Day. While presenting the opening remarks for the occasion, the president of the Arunachal Olympic Association, Taba Dedir, stated that International Olympic Day is celebrated to commemorate the day when the International Olympic Committee was founded in 1894, aiming to promote participation in sport across the globe regardless of age, gender or athletic ability. International Olympic Day is also considered a celebration of sports and health. A press release that was received here on June 23 stated that the International Olympic Day is being celebrated annually on the 23rd of June every year by holding competitions and demonstrations in various sports all over the world. However, it stated due to the pandemic, the event couldn't be celebrated in open spaces. Reiterating the Olympic movement across the state, the Arunachal Olympic Association, the apex sports body of the state, celebrated the day in collaboration with the Directorate of Sports, Directorate of Youth Affairs, including the Sports Authority of Arunachal, Government of Arunachal Pradesh, through an online workshop. The press release stated. About 52 state sports associations, 26 district Olympic associations and athletes, coaches and sports lovers across the state participated, the update stated. Minister Mama Natung, while taking part in the virtual celebration, expressed views that the state government is committed to working in close coordination with state Olympic associations to make Arunachal a vibrant powerhouse of sports in country. His priority will be on creation of national standard sports infrastructure, scientific training and coaching, availability of equipment, standard teaching gadgets, etc., with a motive to enhance the performance of a player, the press release stated. A day after achieving a historic milestone of 88.09 lakh COVID-19 vaccinations, a significant dip was recorded in the inoculation numbers as only 54.24 lakh vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours, according to an updated data of the Union Health Ministry on Wednesday. A total of 29.46 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses have been registered under the nationwide vaccination drive so far, as the new phase of universalization of COVID-19 vaccination commenced from Monday. In a landmark achievement, 88.9 lakh vaccine doses were administered on the first day of the new phase beginning June 21. This is the highest single-day number of jabs in the world. Meanwhile, India reported 50,848 new coronavirus cases in the last 24 hours. The cumulative recoveries reached 2,89,94,855, including 68,817 patients who were recovered in the last 24 hours. With this, the active case load went down further to 6,43,194. Lowest is 82 days. The recovery rate improved to 96.56%, while the weekly positivity rate is currently at 3.12%. The Enforcement Directorate on Wednesday transferred seized assets worth rupees 9,371.17 crore in the cases related to Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi to public sector banks and central government.
Rupees 18,170.02 crore have so far been seized by the ED. Enforcement Directorate not only seized assets worth rupees 18,170.02 crore, 80.45% of the total loss to banks, in the case of Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi under PMLA, but also transferred a part of attached or seized assets of rupees 9,371.17 crore to the PSBs and central government, ED informed in a tweet. The ED in a press release elaborated that as on date, out of the total seized assets of rupees 18,170.02 crore under the provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002, assets worth of rupees 329.67 crore were confiscated and assets worth rupees 9,041.5 crore, representing 40% of the total loss to the bank, have been handed over to the public sector banks. Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi had allegedly defrauded various PSBs, by siphoning off the funds through their companies, resulting in a total loss of rupees 22,585.83 crore to the banks. ED's investigation based on FIR by the Central Bureau of Investigation once and for all proved that the three accused used dummy entities controlled by them for rotation and siphoning off the funds provided by the banks. The seized assets worth rupees 18,170.02 crore includes assets worth rupees 969 crore located in foreign countries. Prosecution complaints, along with the extradition request to the United Kingdom, Antigua and Barbuda, have been filed against all the three accused after the completion of the PMLA investigation, the release informed.
The central government has allocated 61,120 vials of liposomal amphotericin B used in the treatment of black fungus to all states and union territories. Union Ministers for Chemicals and Fertilizers D.V. Sandananda Gowda said on Wednesday.
Additional 61,120 vials of liposomal amphotericin B have been allocated to all states or UTs and central institutions today, tweeted the Minister Gowda. The Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers also informed that so far approximately 7.9 lakh vials of liposomal amphotericin B have been allocated across the country. Mucormycosis or black fungus is a complication caused by a fungal infection. People catch mucormycosis by coming in contact with the fungal spores in the environment. It can also develop on the skin after the fungus enters the skin through a cut, scrap, burn or other types of skin trauma as per the Union Health Ministry. The disease is being detected among patients who are recovering or have recovered from COVID-19. Moreover, anyone who is diabetic and whose immune system is not functioning well needs to be on the guard against this. Looking at the rising cases of mucormycosis or black fungus, the Union Health Ministry had last month said the availability of amphotericin B, the key drug to treat the deadly disease, is now being increased, and the ministry is in touch with 5 additional manufacturers.
The Delhi High Court on Wednesday refused to stay the notice dated June 4, 2021 to WhatsApp by the Director General of Competition Commission of India. Justice Anup Jairam Bambani and Justice Jasmeet Singh urged the DG CCI to bear in mind that investigation against the appellant is under judicial consideration before a division bench of this court. The bench also underlined that, in our view, there is no doubt that the issuance of impunged notice by the DG is a step in furtherance of the investigation commenced in the suo motu case, in which the investigation is the subject matter of the challenge in the present letter patents appeal. SELF also informed the court that related challenges are also pending before the Supreme Court. Additional Solicitor General Amand Likhi appeared for the CCI stated that he has instructions to say that though the issuance of notice dated June 4, 2021 was perfectly in line with the procedure contemplated under the statute for taking forward an ongoing investigation which was not being stayed by the division bench. He said it would take substantial time for preparation of a report pursuant to the receipt of the information called for by way of the impunged notice, which report would thereafter be forwarded to the Competition Commissioner of India. The Gujarat High Court has issued a notice to the Indian Air Force on a petition filed by one of its personnel posted in Jamnagar challenging the show cause notice issued to him for termination of service after he expressed his unwillingness to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Order passed on Tuesday, a division bench of Justices A.J. Desai and A.P. Thakur issued the notice to the IF and central government and also directed the IF not to take any coercive action against the petitioner till July 1. Petitioner Yogendra Kumar, an IF corporal, had moved the HC seeking a direction to squash the show cause notice dated May 10, 2021, in which the IF stated that his stand against vaccination verges to gross indiscipline, and its continuation in the service is likely to adversely impact the health of other air warriors and AF civilians. The IF is of the opinion that his continuation in the disciplined force like Indian Air Force is undesirable and the person needs to be separated from the service. The petitioner said, quoting the notice issued to him, the plea said, the decision of respondent number 1, IAF, to dismiss the petitioner for refusing to take vaccine is not only contrary to the guidelines of the Union of India, but also violative of Articles 14 and 21 of the Constitution of India. Termination from job due to unwillingness to take COVID-19 vaccine is completely illegal, unconstitutional and arbitrary on part of respondent number 1, Kumar said in his plea while seeking the court's direction to squash the notice and direct the IAF not to force him to get vaccinated. India and the US on Wednesday kicked off a two-day multi-domain war game in the Indian Ocean involving an array of air defense platforms to further consolidate the operational synergy in the face of China's increasing military presence in the region.
The U.S. has deployed its Naval Carrier Strike Group, led by the nuclear-powered aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan, as well as a fleet of F-18 fighter jets and E-2C Hawkeye all-weather aircraft for the exercise, officials said. The Indian assets at the exercise included Jaguar and Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter jets, IL-78 air-to-air refueling tanker aircraft, airborne warning and control system aircraft, and warships Kochi and Tech. The Indian Navy has also deployed a fleet of P-1 maritime surveillance aircraft and MiG-29K jets, apart from other platforms. The U.S. Carrier Strike Group is currently deployed in the Indian Ocean region. A carrier battle group of Carrier Strike Group is a mega naval fleet comprising an aircraft carrier accompanied by a large number of destroyers, frigates and other ships. Officials said the high-tempo exercise will include advanced air defense drills, cross-deck helicopter operations and anti-submarine maneuvers with an aim to hone the war-fighting skills and enhance interoperability between the two sides. The exercise is being carried out south of Thiruvananthapuram on the western seaport. The officials said the exercise is focusing on multiple areas, including enhancing the aspects of interoperability, nuances of international integrated maritime search and rescue operations, and exchange of best practices in the maritime air-power domain.
This is all for today's DI. For more latest updates, make sure to follow us on our Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Hornbilltv Official.